Welcome to Blog Talk Radio.
To start your show now, press 1 to hear important.
Your show will go live in 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Insurrection, obstruction, indictments, civilly liable for sexual abuse. The one man responsible for all that could be sitting in a prison cell on election day and still be elected commander-in-chief for these United States. That man is beholden to Putin, weakened NATO the last time around, and is currently tying himself to wealthy Saudi oil money. He enriched himself when government stayed at his properties. He campaigned on wanting to use government to go after his political rivals and wants to expand executive power. If Donald Trump is reelected, our nation is lost. So let's roll up our sleeves, get to work, and tell the MAGA folks no more before it's too late.
Having problems finding the right thing to click. Anyway, welcome to Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. I'm your host, Dan Zimmerman, coming at you from New Orleans, Louisiana. To join the conversation, it is area code 914-803-4131. That's 914-803-4131. As long as Blog Talk Radio doesn't crap the bed. If you're in the Blog Talk Radio chat, though, just come on over to liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube page, and join us in that chat, or you can join us on the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/nerdy. Did I say nerdydan.com? Again, it's been a long day. liberaldanradio.com, which is the YouTube thing, and then Liberal Dan Radio on Twitch, twitch.tv/liberaldanradio. I don't even know what, my mind just went, pew! Anyway, you could join in both chats. I don't monitor the Blog Talk Radio chat, so don't even bother. If you want to support the show, lots of different ways to do so. Obviously, like the video, like the live stream, share it, subscribe to the channel, follow the Twitch channel. If you have Amazon Prime, you could subscribe for free on Twitch as well. It doesn't cost you any money. You can also do various other things like buy me a cider. Go to the liberaldan.com website, click the buy me a cider button, and you'll get either there to the buymeacoffee.com/liberaldanradio link, and then I'll let you just do a one-time contribution to the show, or you can Venmo Liberal Dan. You can just do friends and family because you're not buying anything. Did want to start off the show with an apology with all of the stuff that's been going on recently. I mean, not even just recently, since moving my mother-in-law in, and then with her now passing away and us dealing with all that, there's just been so much stuff going on that there are people who are owed t-shirts from the Patreon being Patreon supporters. So the Liberal Dan patrons who are owed t-shirts, I know who you are. We will get you the t-shirts as soon as we can, as soon as Cassie can get them made. She made one of them the other day, but right now the kids have made this office a mess, and that's where the cricket is, where Cassie makes all the stuff to do all the shirts. So if you wrote a shirt, I know you wrote a shirt, we're going to get you the shirt, I promise you. It is just we've been dealing with a whole bunch of stuff, and, you know, my exhaustion, her exhaustion could probably exhaust, and so much exhaust it would probably ruin the ozone layer over our house. That's the best we can say. Dakota should be Liberal Dave, yes. Liberal Dave, he was Dakota Dan over there, he could be Liberal Dave here, right? Over on Dude's channel. I did find that there is a Facebook page that shares like progressive podcasts and stuff like that, and I don't know if any of y'all are that page or not, but I did find that that page did share a bunch of my links, so I appreciate them for doing that. So awesome, thank you for that. Sharing stuff in this upcoming election is probably going to help the show grow what it needs to grow to get the name out there, to get the content out there, to get people understanding why Donald Trump is so bad for this country, especially with people so insistent on trying to get Joe Biden on being, oh, Biden is slow. There's like a new, was it Washington Post article or something, or some other article, or Wall Street Journal, I don't know which one it was, but they were talking about how supposedly slow Joe Biden is, and they supposedly talked to 75 random people. Supposedly some of them were Democrats, supposedly some of them are Republicans. I have no idea who they were because they're all anonymous, so take it with whatever grain of salt you want, but I'll take Joe Biden's slow over Donald Trump's horribleness any day of the week. And I don't even think Joe Biden is slow. But, you know, as I've said before, Joe Biden could be a vegetable sitting in a wheelchair being spoon-fed food with crap overflowing from his diaper, and he would still make an infinitely better president than Donald Trump ever would be. So that's my opinion on that. I'm not necessarily going to double down on the vote for the crook is important type thing when it comes to, like, you know, what had caused Louisiana former governor Edwin Edwards to win because he was running up against a Klanman. But if vote for Sleepy Joe, it's important, is what we need to do to get it going, then by all means vote for Sleepy Joe, it's important, or something like that. Aaron's on double duty at the moment, might be a little slower for a bit. Do all the duty you need to do. It's not far be it from me to prevent you from doing your duty. Sorry, just had to say it. Bunch of people in the chat. First of all, again, want to shout out to Nerd Misha, Andrea, Jolie, Aaron, one of my kids, my wife, anybody else who helped with the last game that also helped me get, you know, one of y'all might be wondering, well, this is a politics show. I mean, I do have Nerdy Dan, which I consider nerdydan.com to be part of the whole Liberal Dan Radio network type thing. And once I did get Nerdy Dan kind of into this fold, I got Nerdy Dan monetized on Twitch first, which was amazing. And thanks to the help of folks like Andrea, Jolie, and Aaron, who do come regularly, and all the other people who do come other times as well, who do help out. Appreciate y'all for that. But just to give an example as to why, how much money I've made since March, since I've started doing these sponsorships, I've cracked over $1,400 just by doing these games, and I haven't even gotten anywhere close to the maximum amount of money that I can get with these games. So if I'm to some of y'all who don't play games and who might not want to, you know, who might not just choose to not help out that way, that's fine. You can help the podcast out other ways by listening and watching. You're helping out the show just by engaging with the chat, just by sharing, engaging videos, liking videos, sharing content. That's all great ways you can do to help support the show. And I don't mean to begrudge or bemoan anybody who doesn't want to, you know, who's not into games. It's cool. It's fine if you're not. It's not a big deal. But the reason I do talk about it a bunch, and the reason I do try and bring it up, is, again, $1,400 since March of extra money that I wouldn't have had I not been talking about the games. So that being said, let's give a link to the new one real quick. There is a link to the new one in the whatchamacallit, on the show description on YouTube as well. But I am going to go ahead and pin to the top. I just hit the wrong thing. I am going to pin the message to the top of the YouTube and to the Twitch chats, just to make sure that everybody has it. This is another free game to do. I do need to. There is another video I could share with y'all. That other video it's a video that where I was doing some live play of the game. So if you just want to see how to play the game, you can watch me playing it from my Twitch stream last night. Also, this game, after you download it onto your phone and then you hook everything up, you can actually sign up and play on your PC as well, and that actually counts. So if you'd rather play on a PC, start off by playing on the phone, but if you'd rather play on the PC, you could do that too, and that's another way you could get it done. And we're gonna probably, well, I might throw in an extra Nerdy Dan stream just to kind of go over and play this game, just to kind of show everyone how to get the things. I haven't quite figured out how to get every single thing for free. There is no particular, if a viewer buys a particular package, the viewer will generate income for the stream. However, there is certain things that I don't know if they're accessible unless you pay. So we'll see that in a second. But there are definitely free things that you can do, like getting up to level 25, getting your characters up to 5 stars or whatever. But the other neat thing about this one, before I move on to other topics, is simply the fact that this one also allows for gifted subs. This one, so if you want to help, so I may ask a bunch of people when this stream is over to come on board, to come, not today, but when this sponsorship is over, I may ask y'all to come to the Nerdy Dan stream just to be on the Nerdy Dan stream, simply because there will be a point at which what they call the gifted sub fairy is going to show up, which is somebody from their, I guess, help department is going to come along and going to come to the channel and gift memberships to nerdydan.com to everybody for free. Nothing you have to do. You don't need Amazon Prime. You don't need. You just need to follow me on nerdydan.com, and they will gift subs out. And as of right now, I've already earned 5 gifted subs, so I will have 5 gifted subs to give away when this is over with already, and more gifted subs will hopefully be earned over the course of the next 2 weeks. This is a 2-week thing. There's exactly 14 days left for this Raid Shadow Legends sponsorship to go. And I've already I've just with my own play myself, I made $69. Nice. So anyway, that's that. If you want to help by playing the game, help play the game. Other ways you could do it. You can help other ways as well, and I appreciate that too. Again, call in 914-803-4131, 914-803-41. This is Liberal Dan Radio. We are live Mondays and Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central every week, unless I'm on vacation. Like, for example, in the July 7th to 14th, I won't be on the air because I'll be on a boat or on a ship or whatever. Yeah, Aaron. 69 dudes! Know exactly what you're quoting with that one. Let's see. I'm missing something. Steve, Dan lost his mother-in-law. Man, I love the guy from New York. Damn, I would have been the best. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but okay. See, Tim. Okay, Dan, bear down and give us your best effort. I don't know if I want to bear down, because isn't that the Chicago Bears thing? I want to be a saint, because I'm a New Orleans Saint. Let's see. Let's scroll back on through the chat. Just to catch up on things. Jeff Kerr. I was going to talk about this particular thing today. I don't have anything particular to plan, but my wife did actually tell me as well that Trump is about to lose his permit for guns in New York. He has ever had one or shot one, but I think he does have a permit to carry a gun. So because now he's a felon, he doesn't get to have guns, which is amusing in that, you know, he is somebody who the gun nuts are going to all support, but also, you know, and then he gets to have the government tell him, no, we're not going to let you have your guns. Too bad. Suck it. Sorry, I need to take some water. I'm still thirsty. But I don't know how I feel about, you know, non-violent felons having their gun rights taken away. Like, I do believe in stronger gun regulation. Like, I do believe that we need better background checks. I do believe that we should make sure that all the people that are owning guns can legally own them, legally carry them, and not going to be a threat to anybody else. I don't think Donald Trump would actually use one himself. He'd probably hire people to do it for him. So there's that. But I don't know how I feel about just the general concept of a non-violent felony causing somebody to lose their gun rights. Now, aiding and abetting in an insurrection against the United States of America, absolutely, that should cause you to lose your gun rights, 100%. 8 days of the week, twice on Sunday, it should cause you to lose your gun rights. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like that trial, the Georgia trial, is going to be held. That's postponed until after the election, I think, because they're having hearings over whether or not Fani Lewis should be able to retry the case because of who she was or wasn't supposedly stooping. You have, of course, Aileen Cannon, who's just aiding and abetting a domestic terrorist in that she's aiding and abetting Donald Trump and helping him get around these things. And he's just hoping that he can run out the clock on all of these federal charges. And it looks like he'll at least be able to do it when it comes to before the election, before he becomes president. Now, that doesn't stop Congress or the House of Representatives if the House of Representatives flips blue, and then they get to go count to determine whether or not the electoral votes are valid. That doesn't stop them from being able to be like, hey, these electoral votes are not valid because you can't be president if you've aided and abetted an insurrection against the Constitution, an insurrection against the country, and in violation of the Constitution. But that'll just make another January 6th just day, which is going to be, terrible in and of itself. But I still think Joe will win. It's just, we just need to get everybody out and vote. We need to stop all of this BS as it pertains to his mental incapacities or whatever, because we'll see when it comes to the debates if Donald Trump's, they'll be the first debates will come before sentencing. And I won't be away the first debate. So we'll be able to, maybe we'll do a live reaction to the first debate and just kind of see how it goes. Maybe we'll do that. And I'll do the Mystery Science Theater 3000 thing where we won't necessarily air the show, but it'll be like, hey, you watch it on your screen, I'll watch it on my screen, and we will do as according. We will watch it do it Mystery Science Theater 3000 style, where we'll have Joel, Tom Servo, and Crow along with us for the conversation. There we go. I think I got moved, but there you go. Tom Servo and Crow and Joe right there. We'll do that at some point during that, assuming we're here or whatever. Let's see. Dawn, thank you so much for, she passed away in April at this point, so it's been a while. Of course, it doesn't feel like it's been a while. We found her, or my wife found her, and then I came in afterwards, and I still have the image of her on the floor, and that's frustrating in and of itself, but just to have to relive those thoughts, and in fact, especially the fact that it's just the fact that she, we didn't have the typical mother-in-law relationship that son-in-laws and mother-in-laws have of, not liking each other, not getting along, etc. We got along very well, and the amount of times when we disagreed, we worked it out like adults, and there you go. So, and then we're still dealing with the stuff. We're still dealing with, all of the financial stuff. We had taken in the paperwork to go be, so that my wife can be the administrator of the estate, to handle all of the stuff like the vehicle and everything. And of course, the judge is on vacation, so we have to wait for that to take place now. And I think the judge is supposed to be back. The way it worded it, the judge was on vacation and wasn't going to be back till the 7th, but they made it seem like the judge would be in on the 1st. I think the case is the judge would be on vacation until Friday, and then maybe the judge will come in Saturday, and hopefully on Monday the 10th we'll have the paperwork. We'll see. And if not, pain in the neck. Just add one more thing to the fire, I suppose. But Janelle Walker, hey, how's it going? Let's see. Steve, MJ, Jeff, Trucker John's in the house. Trucker John, good to see you. You know, we talk with Dakota Dave. You got Nick Rich, Kevin Anderson, Nerd Misha. Who else are we missing that has come along? Tim, Farrell. Thank you again for showing up. Romper Stomper, freaking do. I see you and you and you. Trucker John, who's that? Some dude. Trucker John, just some dude. Say rigged, scam, sham, conflicted. I know I missed a lot of the best words. I have better words. Nobody has better words than me. The words are the best, and of course,
it is what it is.
Thank you, Donald. Trump wants a drug test. Biden should say yes, and Biden should request lie detectors. That would be great to have lie detectors for the thing. I wonder if Trump wanting a drug test, Trump probably wants to think of as many things that he can do to get out of having the debate now that he's agreed to the debate. Because Trump's probably going to be afraid of the debate because Trump knows that Joe Biden is going to own him. The thing is, it doesn't even matter if Joe Biden owns him to the MAGA supporters. The MAGA supporters are still going to be like, oh, Trump won the debate, clearly. I'm like, Trump could, like, say Kofefi 17,000 times, fall over himself on stage, blow a giant snot rocket out when he sneezes, and do many other things that would cause him to look even more unpresidential than he already looks. And the MAGA supporters will be like, well, clearly Biden lost that debate. No, Biden's going to paint the floor with him or mop the floor with him. Well, mixed metaphors for the win. Joe Biden is going to kick his ass in the debate because Joe Biden has kicked people's ass in lots of things where they expected to. He was amazing. He owned the Republicans at the State of the Union. He was great at the Correspondents' Dinner. He thought on his toes when one of the Fox News people asked him, like, do you have any comments about whether or not about your mental capacities? And he goes, clearly my mental capacities must be problematic because I keep letting you ask me questions. And that was just like, ooh, snap, Joe. Dark Brandon got you. Steve, anyone know when the Supreme Court breaks for holidays in July? Can the push a decision past that? I don't know if they will push a decision back then, but I think it's very well seems that they're going to wait for a decision to take place until like the last day. Last day of SCOTUS term 2024 is Supreme Court calendar. Let's open the calendar. Or is this the 2023 term? Yeah, that's the 2023 term. So let's look at the 2023 term calendar. If they've argued everything if they've labeled everything correctly, it should be named exactly the same. Oh, look at that, they did. Looks like the last day is June 20th. So we should have something by June 20th. I have zero faith in scrotums doing any sort of right thing in the case. Oh, me neither. I don't expect anything to be done correctly because we have an activist conservative Supreme Court with 5 members who would willingly and gladly get on their knees for a hair Trump. To Jeff, if there is a debate, Biden should have Luther, the anger translator, behind him. Don't have to say a word, just stare. Trump would be so that was great from that State of the Union as well. With wasn't that with Obama? Was that an Obama thing? But I think there is supposed to be 2 debates, unless that's changed. June 27th is the debate, which if the debate's June 27th and the last day of the Supreme Court is June 20th, we'll be able to see the debate a month or a week after it determines whether or not the court rules if he has whatchamacallit, immunity or not, which, if the court did the right thing for the Supreme Court to say would be to say, presidents have some immunity when it comes to official duties, but these duties are not official duties, and therefore there's no immunity for these duties. What I'm concerned that they're going to do is they're going to say the president has immunity for official duties, the president doesn't have immunity for unofficial duties. Now let's kick it back to the lower court and let the lower court determine whether or not this is an official duty or not. And then if they can't decide on that, it'll go back to the Supreme Court in the fall, which would just be almost exactly what Donald Trump would need. But if the 5 conservative activists on the Supreme Court were to really want to just put the nail in the coffin of Supreme Court relevancy, they'll just say presidents have total immunity for everything they do in office. Too bad. Donald Trump could shoot somebody in the middle of Times Square while president, and as long as he's president and as long as he's not impeached, which is the Trump legal theory, as long as he's not convicted of the articles of impeachment, then he should be fine. And I'm slightly concerned that they'll do that. I'm more concerned that they'll just kick it back to the courts and be wishy-washy on the whole thing. Kick it back to lower court being wishy-washy on the whole thing. Tim, I hope when Hunter's trial is over, he says, "Can I have my fucking laptop back now?" I mean, it's not a laptop. It's a thumb drive with contents of a laptop, maybe that where the chain of custody absolutely needs to be questioned. He said, "Who should be hung?" Really, Jeff? I was like, I saw "who should be hung." I'm like, don't let Jeff see that comment. And it was like, oh, Jeff made the comment. There you go. Yes, Moscow managed to deprive Obama of not just one. They stole 2. They stole one from Biden. They stole one from Trump. Or stole one from Obama for Trump. Because they stole one from Obama, and Obama should have been able to replace Scalia. But under the same rules that they created, they stole one from Biden because they didn't use the same rules that they made for Trump's pick, for the Scalia pick that they did for the Ginsburg pick. And then, of course, Trump just blackmailed and guilted Kennedy out, and that's how he got 3. And, of course, everybody at the time in 2016, when I was complaining that Trump could name 3 Supreme Court justices, oh, no, that's not going to happen. Yeah, F you. Every time I'm reminded of the whole of people telling me that Trump would never get to name 3 Supreme Court justices, that that's never going to happen, I want to be able to go back in time and find every single person who told me that Donald Trump would not be able to name 3 Supreme Court justices, and I want to go and I want to do like the Mighty Sharp scene from Coming to America. Fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Who's next? So, good evening, Josh. Good to see you. Thank you for joining. Jeff Curry says his gutter mind is starting to flare up. Starting? When does your gutter mind stop? Mine doesn't. I have to put mine in check. It's constantly running in the background. It's like a background process for a computer. It's always ready to spit something out. So, good to see you, Chris. Thank you for joining the show as well. Oh, I've moved away from the Blog Talk Radio thing, so I wasn't even seeing if anybody was actually on the thing. Hello, Wundermom72 over on Twitch. I like to say Wundermom. Wundermom, yes. Dual screening it for you. SCOTUS needs reforms. A blue majority of both houses is needed to see it happen. Unfortunately, the problem is that SCOTUS, if the House of Representatives and the Senate and the President decide to all sign something to put in reforms, unless they pull the nuclear option, you need 60 in the Senate to do that. Again, unless they pull the nuclear option. unless they do something like expand the size of the court, the Supreme Court will just say, nah, we don't think these apply to us. They'll rule that the law that was just made about them is unconstitutional. Then who's gonna say that it's not? You don't have another Supreme Court to be a check on the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court can always just say, this is a violation of the separation of powers. This is an argument. This is against what the Constitution wanted when it comes to the three branches of government. And then who's going to stop him at that point? Who's going to step in and say, well, no, it's not like what they did with Lilly Ledbetter versus Goodyear Tire, because back then the Supreme Court interpreted or misinterpreted the law. If you read Ginsburg's dissent on that ruling, she clearly says that there was judicial precedent to start the clock ticking when people find out that they're being paid a discriminatory wage instead of the first time a discriminatory wage is paying. I believe she said that previous ruling, the previous stare decisis, also said that each payment of a discriminatory wage is a separate incident of payment of a discriminatory wage, and as such, it's not the first time it happens, it's every time it happens. So, in that case, what happened was, the Supreme Court makes their horrible ruling. I guess it was written by Alito, as I predicted when I was looking back at past rulings and when we were complaining about Dobbs. Alito wrote the terrible ruling, and then all of a sudden, under Obama, the House and Senate pass the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act, and they're able to get it pushed through because of the brief time that they had a filibuster-proof majority in the Senate that was also supportive of rules dealing with equal pay. They were able to get that pushed through in that to change the law so that the Supreme Court ruling would no longer be valid because the Supreme Court rule was on an old law that was now amended, and now the new law takes place. So that's how the Congress and President were able to go around the Lilly Ledbetter versus Fair Pay Act ruling because you just signed a new law, so therefore the interpretation of the previous law is no longer relevant. That being said, if they're interpreting the Constitution, I'm speaking really well tonight. If they interpret the Constitution in a way that says that any requirements placed on them would be unconstitutional, you'd have to rewrite the Constitution, which won't happen. Let's see. Boo, 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 boo. Thank you, Jolie, for sharing that link. The answer then is you have to expand the court, because the Supreme Court wouldn't be able to stop them from expanding the court because the court has changed in size. Now, when FDR tried to expand the court, he did it kind of extra congressionally, but in reality, you need to expand the court, which also would require a nuclear option. Don't get me wrong, expanding the court to 13 to match the number of overall districts would need a majority in the House willing to do it, a majority in the Senate willing to do it, and a majority in the Senate willing to do the nuclear option, which, again, I hate the nuclear option. It's based on a lie, but they've already opened Pandora's box. You can't push it back in. So, Nick Rich, are you drinking from a gallon jug? Well, I was drinking from a gallon jug, but it's empty. It was mostly empty by the time I got up here from previous shows where I was just pouring it into a cup, but we're running short on cups because I had to buy a new dishwasher this week, or yesterday to be precise, and it's getting installed Friday. Because just what I needed in my life was more expenses, and the dishwasher, for some reason, after we had the funeral, the mass for my mother-in-law, and then we brought everything back to the house, and for some reason, magically, the hose from the dishwasher to the garbage disposal didn't break till after everything was done. But after everything was done, a crack formed in that hose. So at least it didn't happen during the party. That's a plus, I suppose. But I was looking at the hose and I was like, I can't use anything to fix that. I won't be able to use that that special seal tape or whatever that you can use to maybe like crack, put seals and stuff. It was too textured or too ribbed. Jeff, no comments. For me be able to fix it that way. And then we had to order a part. Part wasn't available on Amazon Prime. It wasn't available at any local shop. So we had to order the part. And then we ordered the part, comes in finally, and then a week later, the dishwasher just completely fails at that point. And so we spent like $300 fixing a dishwasher that needed to be replaced anyway. So that was just $300 we literally poured down the drain. And then, and so that at least we were able to find a dishwasher that was on sale. The sale was ended today, and it was originally like a $900 dishwasher that we got for like $500 or something like that. So we saved the amount of money that we would have spent. So I guess that's good, but it's just more and more and more and more BS just being piled on top of each other. That's making me just ridiculously stressed. Josh, planned obsolescence. I need to replace an AC unit, window unit. Yes, planned obsolescence is absolutely the correct word. And we were talking about that. I was talking about that with the guy that we have that comes in and does kind of minor jobs for us. Good guy, nice guy. He said like he's been in a new house and he's gone through dishwashers like I think this is going to be our 5th dishwasher, maybe more, since we've owned the house. But we've been here since 2007, so it's been 17 years since we've been here, and we've probably been through 5 dishwashers, including the first one, the initial one that the house came with. But we're convinced that the reason that this one went bad, or this one has probably lasted the longest that all of them of all of them, but this one lasted, like one of them only lasted a year, but this one lasted less than it probably should have, because we believe that the first people that came in and installed it wrong, because it's directly wired into the wiring. It's not plugged in, and as such, I don't know. They did something wrong with it, and I think there was a short, and I think that might have screwed it up at some point, so that eventually it just stopped working at this point. But it still lasted longer than all the other ones, I think, which I guess I should be thankful for. But Aaron West, I'd pay you to come wash my dishes, Nick Rich. Would you make him wear a little French maid uniform too, or no? That's an insane amount of dishwashers. Do you have hard water? I don't believe we have hard water here in New Orleans. I don't believe so. Is New Orleans... The first thing, is New Orleans safe? Is New Orleans water hard or soft? No comments from Jeff again. New Orleans tap water is considered hard water. Some believe the term arises from the fact that it's difficult or hard to make suds or lather with soap and hard water. Others say hardness is associated with the fact that it's hard to remove soap ring from the bathtub. So this is from the Sewage and Water Board. So I guess we do have hard water. This is from the Sewage and Water Board. Every Sewage Water Board customer receive an information insert on their water bill advising that their drinking water supplied by Sewage Water Board is of the highest quality. It also describes the water treatment process, blah, blah, blah. So let's search for the hard water thing. Where are you? New Orleans tap water is considered hard water. Some believe the term arises from the fact that it's difficult or hard to make suds or lather with soap and hard water. Others say hardness is associated with the fact that it's hard to remove a soap ring from the bathtub. Hard water is caused primarily by 2 harmless minerals, calcium and magnesium. Total hardness is the sum of the two, expressed as milligrams per liter of calcium carbonate or grains per gallon of calcium carbonate. In 2014, the average total hardness in the tap water was 163 milligrams per liter on the East Bank and 114 milligrams per liter on the West Bank. So I'm on the West Bank, so our water is less hard than the regular Orleans Parish water. So while New Orleans does have hard water, our water is less hard. Again, Jeff, I know where you're going. I know what you're thinking. It's right there with you. I'm right there with you. There you go. Jolie, I got a dishwasher for the first time in my life when we moved to our current home about 12 years ago. I never want to go back to a life without one. I don't want to go without one either. I mean, it's terrible. There's just more stuff that I need to do. Basically, I'm at the point now where, you know, in the times where we've been between not having dishwashers, not having the dishwasher available, I've basically been just hand washing as we go, like as I need it. Like the other day, I wanted to make a grilled cheese sandwich. I had to go find the pan that was dirty, wash it off with nice hot water, make myself a grilled cheese sandwich, and then have to wash it again. Josh, how's your water heater hold up? I just replaced that too. Although the water heater was the water heater that came with the house. So if that means anything. The water heater apparently lasted longer. And we got I think we have a much nicer one now. So, but yes, we literally just replaced the water heater on top of replacing the dishwasher. There you go, Jeff. Who the hell needs Viagra when you have hard water? Doesn't mean the water makes you hard, Jeff. Liberal Dan After Dark. I almost made the channel the other day. I almost tried to think I haven't settled on what I want to actually call the channel. If I want to actually call the channel Liberal Dan After Dark or what. But, yeah. It's too bad you don't live here. My plumber would give you the Aaron discount. I know, right? Where's the kitty? Cassie must be just chilling in bed relaxing, because usually Rose will come in and hang out with me if she goes take a shower or she goes to the bathroom or something. But I think I'm actually starting to be... Rose is starting to actually, I think, like me more because she's come around me a lot more often, which is nice. Steve, Dan, you're nerdy. You want to hear my Matrix Twilight Zone theory? Absolutely. Let's hear it. Especially because this is a talk about anything show, so let's talk about anything. The dark times of Liberal Dan. That's a little too dark. I mean, we want to talk about stuff that's more adult themed, but we still want to make it a serious show. I mean, we could joke around with stuff on that show too, but I mean, it's mostly because I want to have shows like on sexual health that go beyond just simple standard things. I want to be able to go and talk about adult issues without having to worry about this channel getting flagged for having naughty things on it. So, Dan, you got problems. Water heater. Yeah, the water heater was down, and it was dripping for a little bit, and we were just waiting, and then all of a sudden the hot water just went away, and we were like, oh, well, I guess it's done. I guess we need to buy a new water heater. So, yeah. Had to take a cold shower one day, and it was not fun. Again, Jeff, I know what you're thinking. But yeah, we've been dealing with a lot of crap. And we had to throw away a whole bunch of stuff in the garage because a lot of the stuff was on the floor. So a lot of stuff got wet. Some clothes were on them because, we were being lackadaisical about, like, folding clothes. We're just basically washing clothes and putting on the dryer and taking it as we need it because we had other stuff to worry about. And then, boom, there you go. Replace the water heater as well. So, Chris, I have a dog and usually 2 cats in the bathroom with me. I never long. My dog, for some reason, has recently just started joining me in the bathroom. Probably because we used to have a baby gate up that would block her from being able to get to the rest of the house, so that the cats would be, like, I guess, safe or whatever. But at this point, I think the cats know to get away. Well, at least 2 of them. The youngest cat, Sophia, will attack Blanche. Sophia's a tiny 11-pound cat. Blanche is a 68-pound lab, and Sophia will attack Blanche. And Blanche is, like, running away. Blanche will, like, she'll sit there and be like, I want you to love on me. And then all of a sudden, like Sophia will just Blanche won't be doing anything, and Sophia will be like an attack, and I'm like, really, Sophia? Don't be so mean. But yeah, normally we'll have my dog loves me. I mean, there's no doubt about it. And Sophia has started becoming more and more snuggly with me recently. Rose a little bit more too, not as much. Sophia will let you pick her up. Rose will not. Rose will snuggle with you on Rose's terms, and that's it. So if I get a Rose up here, she'll stay up here as long as she wants to. But, again, then there's Gloria, who hates me. See, I'm wondering if a softener and filter system would be worth it. Maybe, I don't know. After I go, the dog wants to go outside. It's a pack thing. We watch over each other. Makes sense. All right, wait. So here we go. Let's see if I've missed anything from Steve about the theory. Morpheus tells us when the Matrix was first created, a man was born inside who had the ability to change whatever he wanted. Okay. Yeah, Ken QB. Anything. Yes, E.T. was a Jedi. He recognized Yoda in costume. There are E.T.s in the Senate, and he was able to make the bicycle fly. That's a valid theory. Yes. There was a quarter second of a pause. Let's see. I'm not seeing anything on my Twitch stream, but it's probably just because of the fact that I just need to refresh. Because it should be on something. I'm sure the Twitch stream is fine because I see the chat. I just don't see the video on the Twitch stream. Why would a cat hate you? I don't know. I don't know why Gloria does. I mean, I brought Gloria to her mother, and she loves her mom. She loves Cassie. Gloria will snuggle up to Cassie all the time. But if I try and like pet Gloria, just runs away every time. Sometimes I can walk past Gloria and she won't move. Sometimes I'll walk past Gloria and she'll run. It's worse when it comes to my oldest son. My oldest son tries to get Gloria and Gloria will run away immediately from Thomas. I don't know why. I mean, what drives me nuts is the fact that Gloria and Blanche, the dog, will get nose to nose and kind of sniff each other, and Gloria won't run, but I get close to Gloria and it's let's see, it's Anthony from It's a Good Life, the kid that terrified everyone because you could wish them into anything. He's the first, the one. Huh, interesting. Mish, is the phone working now? 914-803-4131. It should be. I mean, we do have the soundboard.
It is what it is.
So, Tim, I'd run if Dan tried to pet you. I wouldn't pet you hard. But yeah, with Cassie will go into the bedroom and Rose will join Cassie and Gloria will join Cassie. The only reason that Blanche doesn't come upstairs is Sophia prevents Blanche from coming up the stairs. Little tiny 11-pound, 12-pound cat stops the 68-pound dog from coming up the stairs. She just stays there and prevents. Like, there was a point where when my mother-in-law was still alive, we're in the living room talking about my mother-in-law, and then like Blanche looks like she's about to go up the stairs. Sophia jumps over everything, kicks Blanche in the head, and then gets on the other side of her to stop her from going up the stairs, because Sophia does not want Blanche to come upstairs. Oh, I did miss. I thought I didn't miss anything. Let's see. The move has brought me within 8 hours from Liberal Dan. 8 hours? 8 hours which way? That's the question. Oh, Mish, you're good. You're just curious. Oh, okay. Nice. Let's just scroll back up again and see if I missed Steve's post. Do. What did I miss? What did I miss? What did I miss? Where is it? I completely missed it. That's the problem with my scroll. Sometimes I scroll right past. Yes, Danimal. It's the Danimal animals. Liberal Danimals, liberal animals. I need the fan on me a little bit. Anyone else have a nerdy idea to propose? Yes, play the game that's linked on top of the thing. It's the best way to help the channel. It's 4 comments above the Anthony comment. Wait, I saw the first comment, I think, about E.T. being... No, that was Ken who said E.T. was a Jedi. Morpheus tells when the Matrix was created, a man was born into it, had the ability to change whatever he wanted. It's Anthony from It's a Good Life, the kid that terrified everyone because he could wish them into anything. He's the first one. Yeah, I read that part too. I need to see when the next time... This is gonna be... This will be weird if this actually works out well, but... Nick Rich, part 2. I just want to see something about Nerd Halen. Huh. That's interesting. Wow. So, I may have to go to this concert, or I might have to buy tickets to this concert. Because I'm going to be in Dallas. I'm going to be in Fort Worth the weekend of the 19th and the 20th. Hal is going to be in Dallas at the Glass Cactus in Grapevine, Texas. So I may have to get myself a table reservation or something. Let's see. Where is it? It's not what I want. Hold on. So yeah, I might have to go see. I might have to go, depending on how long it lasts at the tournament, we may have to go by, there it is. There's everything. That's $100 for a group of 2. You can buy negative tickets. Huh, not bad. All right, well, I'm glad I checked that, because I'm going to be in Dallas the same week Hal's going to be. So, hold on a second. I have somebody knocking at my door. Yes. Is what water? This the cup of ice water? Yes. There you go. Thank you. You're welcome. Hal has a ticket to the Trump event in LA on Saturday, not a joke. He said he might live stream. He almost, oh wait, no. Stop it. Stop it. I hate when I have a scratch on my ear and it causes my earpiece to cause the audio to start rolling. Dan may have to adjust this. I mean, this is the weekend, so my schedule's not really there, but I'm going to be at the tournament, and unless I win the tournament, unless I get to the final whatevers, although it's less people than last time, so it might not last as long on that day. So, interesting. Table reservations must be booked in advance, not required ticket for entry. The price of the table acts as a deposit towards your minimum required spend of $50 per person towards food and beverage. Oh, that's neat. So it's just a you get a table, and there you go. Nice. I only want one group of two. Yes, liberaldanradio@gmail.com is my whatchamacallit. We'll figure that out, but we'll have to do that. It'll be just something me and Cassie will have to do. Go see Nerd Halen. Now I got to work it out with Hal to see if I can sing a song with him. Because that would be awesome. I'd love to be able to... I mean, it's not Van Halen, but I'd love to be able to sing Monkey Wrench with Hal. That would be great. I'll have to talk to Andrea about it. But that's cool. That's awesome. Maybe I'll call into a Saturday show and be like, hey, who has two thumbs is going to be in Dallas the weekend, or Fort Worth the weekend of July 20th? This guy. Whatchamacallit email. Yes. Video of shout out Son and I gave to Jolie and Liberal Dan. I can't figure out how to send it to my email, so send it to Dan. Nice. I don't know where is it that you can't get it to your email? That's my question. It's MAGA's worst nightmare. It's Bicycle Mike 42. I don't know. I think Biden was MAGA's worst nightmare when he beat them the first time, and he's going to beat him again. But Bicycle Mike may very well come in number 2. Let Liberal Dan can be tech support for Jeff. How about, Jeff, you email me regularly at liberaldanradio@gmail.com and let me know where the video is, and I can see about how getting it to you that way. So... Now, if I can see Nerd Halen, I'll have to get an outfit that's that. You know, I'll probably have to find black pants and a white like button-down shirt, get some nerdy glasses, etc. Maggots are my worst nightmare. Well, maggots should be everybody's worst nightmare. Yes, this video on phone, you should be able to some sort of share or send button. That is also true. But yeah, if you have YouTube and you have YouTube on your phone and the videos on your phone, you should just be able to upload it to YouTube. Well, stop starting the audio. I can't. My ear itches. It had an itch. I think there's like a flea in here or something. Maggots are their own nightmare, and they don't even know it. That's the thing. They don't even know that they're their own nightmare. They don't know that we know they know we know. Yeah, Liberal Dan Radio. It's 9 o'clock, so let's do a show reset. Liberal Dan Radio, talk from the left, that's right. Mondays and Wednesdays, 8 p.m. Central, here on YouTube. 914-803-4131. 914-803-4131 if you want to call in or join us in the chats. liberaldanradio.com or twitch.tv/liberaldanradio. Either way gets you there. Support the show. Like, follow, subscribe, share. Amazon Prime gets you follow on Twitch for free. Otherwise, be a Liberal Danimal for as little as $2 a month. You could be a patron for as little as $5 a month. Venmo, whatever. I do need to set up the patron to be able to do a year, I guess, limited membership or whatever, or a discounted year-wide membership. That would be nice. Bicycle Mike, don't touch your ears. But if I have an itch on my ear, I need to scratch it. Dakota Dave, every time I hear the music, I reach for dude. That sounds like a thing between you and dude, not between you and me. What goes on between you and dude stays between you and dude. That's fine. I mean, you know, it is what it is. Wait, sorry, that's Trump's line.
It is what it is.
We are going to be returning another bit to the show, by the way. There will be another bit coming back to the show. We used to have Amber Rose Petrovich, who used to do a Your Money Minute, I think it was what we called it back then. She would send me a clip every week with 60 seconds of just a little bit of talk about financial literacy and stuff like that. She literally apparently just got laid off from her job yesterday, which she's actually happy about because she was trying to find a way to leave and she got severance. So there's that. So she should be coming back on the show as a guest and somebody who contributes some content to the show as well. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We should have... let's see. I tried to reach out to Mandy to see if she would come on today. Have not heard from her yet, although she may have just tweeted at me. Yes, thank you, Donald. Let's see. Josh was talking to a friend yesterday about the Trump cases. He's convinced it's not fair to him. I mean, why is it not fair to him? If he didn't want to be convicted of a crime, he shouldn't have committed the crime, right? Right? Oh, crap. Let's see. I can do about 30 minutes. She just emailed me. Let's see. I just saw this. If you want to call, it's 94803-4131. So there we go. Maybe she'll call in, maybe we won't. We'll see. Jeff, I'll never figure it out. After show, we started standing behind the merch table. He says thanks to Jolie for showing their link and giving an F about us on Liberal Dan. Nice. Yeah, Bicycle Mike, baby says it's not fair. Wah. Josh, can't convince some people is all. I mean, there's nobody who's going to be able to admit that Trump has... There's even a possibility of Trump being guilty. Like, they'll never admit that. It's a shame that they'll never admit that, but they'll never admit that. In reality, you know, look, I mean, I think the whole thing with Hunter Biden is ridiculous. But, I mean, if he's guilty of a crime, then he's guilty of a crime, and I don't think it's a witch hunt in and of itself. I do think it's ridiculous that they're charging him and they don't really charge anyone else. But, again, this is again, we talked about this the other day. If Joe Biden was really trying to manipulate the justice system, why wouldn't he have squashed the case against his own child? That's what doesn't make sense to me about their whole conspiracy. Their conspiracy theories never make any sense. That's the problem with most conspiracy theories, is they're not plausible. Like there's not even a possibility to them being at all true. Like, you know, they're putting 5G in the vaccines, so you're going to be hooked up to Wi-Fi or something if you get the shot, and that's how they'll be able to control you. Like, that's how ridiculous their conspiracy theories are. Not like the ones that I try and, you know, that I talk about, like, you know, Donald Trump knew he was going to lose, that's why he sabotaged gas prices. Like, that's a reasonable conspiracy theory, because it makes sense. It's plausible. Nick Rich, Hunter hasn't complained. I mean, Hunter, you know, I mean, he was ready to plead guilty. And then the judge was like, no, we're not going to plead guilty because we don't like the terms of the plea. I'm like, what? Chad, he'll just pardon his son when he leaves. I brought that possibility up. I brought up the possibility that he might just be waiting until after November. And then regardless of what happens with the trial, or if he is found guilty in the trial, then after November, he'll just pardon his son at that point, regardless of if Biden wins or loses. So... That could be a possibility, but again, if it was Donald Trump wouldn't be waiting for his own, for at least for most of his children to squash the case. He would just squash the case because he wouldn't like the optics of it. he wouldn't like how it looks that one of his children is being brought up on charges and brought up on crimes. So Patrick's time. You're still getting boosted per the recommendations of the CDC? Yes, Patrick. I did get my last boost last year. I think around Thanksgiving-ish, I believe. Chad, I would pardon my son if it was me, honestly, regardless. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would be able to... if I was president and one of my children was in trouble with the law, I would have a very hard time not being like, you know what, done. But, you know, and though, I guess it really depends. I mean, they probably had a conversation about it. Hunter Biden probably was like, look, Dad, don't use your political power on me. I got myself into this mess. I should have to deal with it. And that could very well be the case. But Biden still might, at the end of the day, think, you know, once December rolls around, if it turns out that they find you guilty, I still may be like, you know what, you know, pardon at that point. Which crime would that be, Patrick? Which crime would Joe Biden have to pardon for? I mean, anything Biden's done while he's in office, according to Donald Trump's legal theory, he has immunity, right? That's what Donald Trump argues. Which one of the reasons that Donald Trump is an extreme hypocrite, because he is making the argument both that he wants to go after Biden for things he's done in office, while in office as president, and he wants to prosecute Biden for those things, but yet he's saying that presidents should have immunity for what they do. Patrick said, how many LLCs does the family have? I don't know. How many LLCs does everybody have? I mean, I have an LLC. I have Liberal Dan LLC. Speaking of which, I have to make the payment. That payment's due. Have to remember to make that payment. But yeah, I mean, people own LLCs. If Biden was the only one to have a lot of LLCs, a lot of corporations and whatever, how many LLCs does Trump have? How many corporations does Trump have? I guarantee you that Donald Trump has used his corporations for many more illegal, unethical shenanigans when it comes to money than the Biden family has ever done. How many corporations does Trump own? Trump Organization is an American privately owned conglomerate owned by Donald Trump. It serves as a holding company for all of Trump's business ventures and investments, with about 250 of its affiliates and subsidiaries using its name. So, I don't know. Does he surpass 250? Because, you know, he's using the Trump Organization as a holding company to hold all of his other corporations. And if he's like, you know, any other corporation, I'm sure each property is its own LLC. I'm sure each or corporation, I'm sure each thing that he owns, it's his own corporation LLC, because that's what they do. They will take, like, there was this shipping company down here that you know, I think they use ships to bring stuff to their oil rigs, and each ship is its own corporation. Every ship is its own corporation. Now, it's held by another corporation, but every ship is its own corporation, which means that if that ship crashes into something, who's responsible? Is it the entirety of the holding corporation, or is it just that one corporation? The ship goes down, literally, and then whatever goes down is whatever is in that little corporation, because that's how the wealthy people in this country get away with doing their wealthy people shenanigans, because they're able to use multiple LLCs. I fully agree with you in the idea that we should prevent people from manipulating the system and using so many LLCs to get away with things, but to just sit here and blame Biden for whatever he's doing with whatever LLCs that him and the rest of his family own, and to not even bring up Trump, and to not even talk about all the other ways in which many other corporations are used to manipulate the financial system and other systems in this country, well, guess what? It's BS. Oh, she didn't call yet. Trump Tower, 7225 Fifth Avenue, Trump World Tower in 845 United Nations Plaza in Midtown Manhattan, the AXA Financial Center Manhattan, at 555 California Street. Trump owns a 30% stake in these two office buildings, resulting from a property swap involving Riverside South. The Trump Building at 40 Wall Street, Trump International Hotel and Tower Casino or Chicago, Trump International Hotel Las Vegas. All these things are corporations. I'm sure they're all independently owned by each individual corporation, so that you don't have to, so that a loss in any particular one is not going to harm the other investments. Patrick's time. Why does Biden have about 200 shell companies? I don't know. Do they? Is that a fact that they do? And why does Trump have 250 LLCs? The idea of Biden holding 200 shell companies is probably false. But even then, is it Joe Biden that has them, or is it his brother, or is it his son, or what is it? Republican leading the probe of Hunter Biden has his own shell company and complicated friends. James Comer, a multimillionaire farmer, boasts of being one of the largest landholders near rural Kentucky hometown, and he has meticulously documented all of his holdings on congressional financial disclosure documents, roughly 1,600 acres, 645 hectares in all, but there are the 6 acres that he bought in 2015 and co-owns with a longtime campaign contributor that he has treated differently, transferring his ownership of Farm Team Properties, a shell company he co-owns with his wife. Interviews and records with the Associated Press provide new insights into the financial deal, which risks undercutting the force that some of the Comer's central arguments in his impeachment query of Joe Biden. For months, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee and his Republican colleagues have been pounding Biden about how his relatives traded on their famous name to secure business deals. In particular, Comer has attacked some Biden family members using the president's son Hunter over their use of shell companies that appear designed to obscure millions of dollars in earnings they received from, quote, shadowy middlemen and foreign interests. Such companies typically exist on paper and are formed to hold an asset like real estate. The opaque structures are often designed to help hide ownership of property and other assets. Companies used by the Bidens are already playing a central role in whatever, blah, 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 blah. But again, would you, let's say how many, let's see, GOP says Biden family financial records are a smoking gun. White House call it political stunt. See. Hunter Biden and James Biden and a growing number of associates who received millions of dollars in payments from foreign entities in China and Romania. They suggest without evidence that the payments were part of a wide-ranging scheme to enrich themselves off the family name. So let's say that was true. Let's just say, for example, let's give Patrick the benefit of the doubt and say it's true that both Hunter Biden and Joe Biden's brother James Biden were using their Biden name to enrich themselves. Is that Joe Biden's fault? Is it? Like, if I became famous for being Liberal Dan from Liberal Dan Radio, Talk from Left, that's right, and I had a huge following, and then one of my relatives who happens to be a Zimmerman was like, hey, I'm a Zimmerman too, and I'm gonna use my connections, the fact that I'm related to Liberal Dan, to get me some money too. I want a piece of this money, so I'm gonna use my name or use my connection to Liberal Dan and make a name for myself and make money for myself too. How would I stop them? What would that have to do with me, except for the fact that we share genealogy? We share a genetic connection. Like, it doesn't make any sense that you would blame Joe Biden for the actions of his own brother or the actions of his own son without having any direct connection that they were involved with both of it. Chad, it would only be wrong if he took a percentage while holding a government position. Okay, and then prove it. And that's the thing. They need to prove it. But here's the thing. If they proved that, then I'd be like, fine. Once he stops being president, punish him. Because apparently we're not allowed to indict presidents. So once he stops being president, put him up on charges, bring him up on charges, punish him. Or try and get an impeachment done. Fine. But prove it. The onus is on them to prove it. The onus is not on us to disprove it. Like, if you're making the argument that Joe Biden has some shady dealings involving his relatives using the Biden name to enrich themselves, then the onus is on the people making that allegation to prove it. I'm not worrying about it until it's proven. Chad, I'm not saying it did. That's just saying that's how it would be illegal. Sure. But you have Patrick who's saying that, trying to make that connection. What, did Patrick bring up the big... Yeah, there. I was about to say, I bet you if I scroll back, I'll see that Patrick brought up the big guy, and there he is. Patrick brings up the big guy. Again, let's say Hunter Biden did say, hey, I'm going to be able to get you connections with my dad, let me call him right now and we can talk to the big guy. And then he calls up and Joe Biden gets on the phone. Hey, Dad, how's it going? I'm good, son. How are you? I'm good. Blah, 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 blah. There's the big guy. Here's proof that I'm Hunter Biden. I'm Joe Biden's son. Yada, yada, yada. Then Joe Biden gets off the phone with no promises, no promises of any sort of shenanigans. But then Hunter Biden then goes, see, I can call my dad whenever I want. So if you want a connection to my dad, you can have a connection via me. And I'll be your connection to my dad. And let's say that's true. Let's say Hunter Biden did just that. I'm not saying it is true, but let's just assume for the moment that it is. It still doesn't mean that Joe Biden did anything wrong. See, Steve, I only say it to avoid it is what it is. I despise Trump that much. Here's what I think. Here's the thing, though, with it is what it is, and that's why the reason, again, I'll say it again. I play it all the time.
It is what it is.
Thank you, Donald, is because everybody should remember why Donald Trump said it is what it is. I don't just use it just to be funny. I use it because, now on my Nerdy Dance stream, I do have the ability for 69 bits, not bits, for 69 channel points to say I'm Donald Trump, I approve this message, just because I'm silly. But for this one, for the it is what it is, he said it specifically and relates to the question pertaining to all the deaths that were happening under COVID during his presidency. Like, he shrugged off the deaths. It is what it is. That's why we bring it up all the time. That's why it's important. That's why it's important to remember why he said it and to remind people that he said it. So, Patrick's time, is the laptop still Russian disinformation? I have no reason to believe the laptop is a laptop. There's a thumb drive that supposedly has the contents of a laptop on it. What's the chain of custody? What's the chain of custody from Rudy to whoever to verify that every single one of those contents on that laptop, i.e. thumb drive, are legitimate and all belonging to Hunter? And why, again, the whole reason why, again, this is another reason why conservative conspiracy theories suck. Like, why I hardly ever will ever have a chance to believe in conservative conspiracy theories. Because in order for the whole laptop thing to be true, the whole story, you would have to believe that Hunter Biden, who was living in California at the time, took a broken laptop all the way from California to Delaware to see a specific computer repair person to repair his laptop. You could have gone to a Best Buy in wherever he was in California. I want to say Modesto. I don't know why I'm saying Modesto. Maybe because of Peterson. I don't know. He could have gone to wherever he lived in California. He could have gone to a computer shop there, could have gone to Best Buy. He could have hired somebody because he's wealthy enough. He could have hired somebody to come to his home to come fix his computer. And signed an NDA with that person if there was anything that were shenanigans on that laptop. But no, for me to believe this story, for me to have to believe that the whole Hunter Biden laptop story is true, we have to believe that he went all the way across the country from California to Delaware. We have to believe that he went to this one specific computer repair shop where the owner of it just so happened to be blind enough that he couldn't actually see the person bringing in the laptop, and then just left it there with all sorts of incriminating evidence on it. That's what we would have to believe. Because the person who owned the stop, if I'm remembering this correctly, and I believe I am, I mean, I'm not Donald Trump, so don't have that much faulty mental acuities like Mr. Covfefe does. If somebody could have, Rudy could have walked it into the computer store himself to this blind guy and said, "Here, I have this laptop. Can you look at it? What's your name?" "Oh, it's Hunter Biden." They could have known that this was the perfect, dupe, because there's no way he would have been able to confirm who the person was dropping off the laptop because he's legally blind and can't see that far. I think it's more likely that the person who brought that if there was a laptop that was brought in under the name of Hunter Biden, I think it's more likely that the person who brought in the laptop's name was Rudy Giuliani than it was that it would to actually be Hunter Biden. Because the story is that ridiculous. It's that unbelievable. And the fact that people are willing to believe it just shows the depths of how much MAGA folks are willing to just believe anything Trump says without question. Again, I'm voting for Joe Biden. Not that my vote matters because I live in Louisiana, but I'm voting for Joe Biden. But if it turns out that Joe Biden committed crimes, I'm not going to be the one who's going to say, all right, whatever. Don't convict him of crimes because I love Joe Biden. We're not a cult. MAGA is a cult. People who are most of the people that still support Donald Trump. I would go say a vast majority of the people who still support Donald Trump are people who will believe anything he says. If Donald Trump told them that they took the word gullible out of the dictionary, they would believe it. What's up, Andrea? Good to see you. $56. Why is that? Stop calling her B6. It's 6B. Showed bogus photos from the bogus laptop in Congress. Yeah, I mean, they very well could have hacked his laptop and gotten some information off of it and then put it on a thumb drive with other stuff and said, hey, this is a laptop. Or maybe they put all the information on a different laptop and then took that information off and put it on a thumb drive and said, here's the contents. I have no reason to believe that the story has any sort of veracity to it because it's so wildly concocted. Then again, Donald Trump did say after the 2016 Nevada primaries that he loves the poorly educated, and as such, since then, the people who are his diehard supporters who will never believe he did anything wrong are trying every day of the week, every month of the year, trying to prove to him why they are poorly educated, and as such, why he should love them. Chad, they brought in forensic data analysis to confirm the legitimacy of phone calls, pictures, and text found on it. Sure, they can confirm phone calls, pictures, and text found on it. It doesn't necessarily mean that means that those files were legitimate. It doesn't necessarily mean that they were all on his laptop. See the difference? You can confirm that a picture is real and hasn't been obfuscated while still being on a planted laptop. And again, it was never a laptop. It was just a thumb drive. There's no laptop. They're sitting there in Congress holding up, I have the laptop here, and they're holding a thumb drive. They don't even know the difference between the two. Believe Giuliani, no way. Wait, double masking, taking experimental armament. mRNA is not experimental. We've covered this on the show before. It's been around for a very long time and has been very successful with various things, with various other vaccines. The fact that they put it into the COVID vaccine for most of them. The first 2 vaccine shots that I got were Novavax, and those were not mRNA, by the way, just to let you know. I'm shocked the mRNA, the Novavax vaccine didn't take off more than it should have, because the conservatives might have been like, hey, well, if I'm being forced to take the vaccine, I'm going to take the vaccine that's not Novavax. But double masking was in some cases was shown to be effective. In other cases, the way it depends on how you did it. Nobody is advocating for children to remove their privates. Not a single one. Kimchi, why are you trying to educate the troll? Well, I mean, I'm not trying to educate Patrick. I'm trying to educate the other people who might be watching along, who are watching along but not, not participating necessarily. If you stumble along the, do we have to bring this up? There's a past show where I've talked about this, Patrick, with the vaccines, but we can bring it up again just to see. Vaccines that used mRNA technology. I want to say anthrax is one of them. Other vaccines that are in development. Let's see. Science goes back almost 30 years. The long history of mRNA vaccines. Messenger RNA or mRNA was discovered in the early 1960s. Research into how mRNA can be delivered into cells was developed in the 70s. Where's the... Gotta go. I think it's the other site. That was like, hold on, mRNA examples. Vaccine trial data showed all the mice died. Did it now? Let's see. First utilization of direct injection of mRNA as a human cancer treatment happened in 2009. Flu and RSV specific mRNA protective vaccinations in preclinical study took place in 2012. Analysis of research trends for hold on, I skipped some on the bottom. First clinical trial with ex vivo DC transferred with mRNA against cancer. Nucleoside modification improves. First preclinical trial delivering DC's targeted mRNA whatever, I don't know what that word is. The first human test of conceptual personalized mRNA cancer vaccines took place in 2017. Explain why what did they try and hide, Patrick? What were they hiding? Weren't hiding anything. Fact check. A 2012 study did not use mRNA vaccines or result in animals dying from disease. A video which uses a research paper to argue that mRNA vaccines will make people fatally weakened to other diseases makes untrue claims about the study. The video, according to the paper's author, the video, which has been viewed over 140,000 times on Facebook, carries the headline, "Why People May Start Dying a Few Months After the Gates Vaccination." It opens with a screenshot of the abstract from a 2012 paper entitled "Immunizations with SARS Coronavirus Vaccines Lead to Pulmonary Immunopathology or Challenge with the SARS Virus." The paper is visible online here and here. The study researched vaccinated mice that were later exposed to this live SARS virus. The speaker in the video says, "What happened in the study is that the animals models, after being challenged, got very sick and some of them died. So that last line of the abstract says, caution in proceeding, blah, 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 blah. The recommendation for caution is indeed the final line of the study's conclusion, as published in the above link, but the lead author of the society, Professor Chen-Chi Tseng, told Reuters by email that the animals in the study did not die. He said the immunized mice generated strong and healthy protective antibody responses, which fully protect immunized mice against lethal infection. He said that when the animals were exposed to the live virus, they developed a high count of white blood cells, but despite this, they found the mice survived the lethal challenge without showing any noticeable weight loss or any signs of illness. The speaker of the video goes on to suggest throughout the video that the findings of the study are acceptable to RNA vaccines. However, Tseng said the vaccines they studied in a 2012 paper and the mRNA technology used are very different vaccines platforms. Tseng also said while people should always be cautious about the safety of new vaccines, they should not be alarmed by his paper. So here we go. Again, another example of this is the thing. You ever heard of the argument or the saying that a lie makes its way halfway around the world before the truth wakes up for breakfast, or some other version thereof? Well, that's what happens. Y'all hear a lie. Y'all want to believe it to be true. So instead of like taking some time to see, is this really legitimate? Y'all say, hey, this sounds true, let's share it. And you share it, and you share it, and you share it, and you share it, and halfway makes its way halfway around the world, and then people start realizing, oh, what y'all are sharing is a load of bullshit. And therefore, but now we have to undo all the harm that's been done by the constant sharing of lies. And for some reason, this all goes back to The Boy Who Cried Wolf. Because I'm convinced that when people who are conservative, many people who are conservative, not everyone, but many people who, especially the types that are more likely to be MAGA supporter conservatives, and not just your regular old, maybe sane conservatives who understand that Donald Trump is a legitimate threat to this country and the world, that these conservatives listened to or heard or had the story read to them of The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And instead of hearing the regular, actually I should ask Patrick. Unless Patrick's suspended. No, he's only got one of them deleted. I should ask Patrick, what do you believe the moral of the story of The Boy Who Cried Wolf was? Let me ask you. What do you believe the moral of the story of The Boy Who Cried Wolf was? Let's go there first before I give you my theory as to what conservatives think they are, and I still will tell you what I think they are, because even if you say the correct one, I did say most and many, and I didn't say all. So Patrick's Times deleted comment, thank you, Aaron, did say the best thing about not taking the jab is not having blood clots or myocarditis. You were more likely to get myocarditis because of COVID than you were getting it from the vaccine. Even if the vaccine gave you myocarditis, which again, there's correlation is not causation. But people were getting myocarditis from COVID. Y'all don't want to talk about that part. Y'all just want to talk about the part about getting myocarditis from the vaccines, but you don't want to talk about the fact that you're more likely to be infected or harmed by myocarditis simply because you had COVID. Still didn't answer my question, Patrick. What do you think the moral of the story is of The Boy Who Cried Wolf? We do have a caller coming in. Hopefully this is Atlanta or our new friend the other day. I'm gonna take a shot, and we're gonna take the phone call regardless without screening because I'm feeling lucky. Hey, what's going on? Hello? Hello? All right, push 1 if you want to talk, because as of right now I didn't hear anything. So We do have a caller in, but push 1 if you want to talk, unless that was Mandy coming in on a different line, and then hopefully that didn't get screwed up. Hopefully the phone lines are not being stupid. It's possible the phone lines are being stupid too. You never know. Oh, Patrick. Natural immunity being better than any COVID jab is false. You actually are the safest if you're always going to be safer and more protected from the virus if you have the vaccine, regardless of whether or not you actually caught COVID-19 beforehand or not. Evidence from the Israeli study proved that. That's fine, Jolie. Again, you are a mod. You have free reign to mod people as you see fit. I don't disagree with your modding. I'm just curious as to what he was saying. But since he never actually answered my question, I'm going to give my example. My belief is that when these conservatives, especially the MAGA type conservatives, heard the story of the boy who cried wolf, what the lesson that they learned was, if somebody lies, you should continue to believe them, because what if they're telling the truth the next time? That's what I think that these MAGA folks. That's I think the lesson that they learned from the boy who cried wolf, because they heard the story. They heard, oh well, this boy was lying about the wolf, and they lied about. Then eventually he told the truth about the wolf. So let's just believe everybody who lies, because then, well, one day that might be actually truthful. That's why they continue to follow Trump, because he's their cult leader, and they're never gonna not. Even if they're caught, even if somebody proves to them that Trump lied about something, they're like, well, he'll tell the truth the next time. Whereas the real moral of the story of the boy who cried wolf is you shouldn't lie, because once people are used to you being a liar, they're not going to believe you anymore. Andrea, I did know that they were going to push a vote on the contraceptive bill. Senate votes contraception bill. There we go, of course. I'm looking at all these things. AP, Senate Republicans block bill to protect contraception access. Fox News, misleading Dem contraception bill fail keys votes. Like, that just tells you the difference between the two sides right there. Chad Bostic, on a lighter note, they came out with birth control for men. It's called being a Republican. No. Nick, if you delete a chat, if you delete somebody's comments in chat, they can't see it if you're watching the chat scroll, if you're watching the rewatch of the show, you won't be able to see the deleted comments. I can see the deleted comments because, you know, I'm Liberal Dan, but the other people can't see the deleted comments because unless they're a moderator. Senate Republicans have blocked legislation designed to protect women's. See, here's the thing. I'm quoting them here. I really wish they would be gender non-specific, because there are non-binary people and trans men who take oral contraceptives to protect themselves from getting pregnant, and we should be using the correct terminology to refer to them, and not just. And there are women who, and there are actually women who use access to contraception to not actually use it for contraception. There are other purposes that they use it for. A test vote won a 51-39 majority, but it was short of the 60 votes needed to move ahead of the legislation. It came as the Senate abandoned hopes of doing serious bipartisan legislation before the election. Chuck Schumer and his Democrats are trying to set spotlight issues they believe can help them win the presidency. A similar vote ensuring nationwide access to in vitro fertilization is expected next week. The bill expected to similarly stall in the Senate, or that bill is expected to stall in the Senate as well. It will put reproductive freedoms front and center. This came as the Democrats worried that reproductive rights will further be threatened. And of course, the Democrats are right to believe that they're further threatened, despite the fact that conservatives try and claim otherwise, because as we've discussed when we were going over Dobbs v. Jackson the second time, because we reviewed Dobbs v. Jackson the first time when it was leaked, and then we reviewed it again when it actually came out so we could see the concurring agreements and the dissent. And in Thomas's dissent, and something Thomas loves to do is cite himself in dissent. He'll cite his dissents in his rulings. Or if he concurs, he'll decide. He likes to refer to his own rulings even if it's not part of the majority opinion. Let's just put it that way. Because, I don't know, he's obsessed with himself, I guess. And Trump. And all the money that he gets from all of his support. Because we made it legal for them to be able to get, unethical money and support and stuff like that. But Thomas himself said that all these other rulings that were founded on the same basic theory, like Griswold v. Connecticut and Lawrence v. Texas and Obergefell v. Hodges, all these other rulings should be considered to be on the chopping block too, because according to Clarence Thomas, they were all not logically founded or not founded in the Constitution or whatever. However he worded it, it should put everyone on notice that these things are not a given. Just like I kept on telling lots of people kept on telling everybody, abortion rights are not a given. 2016, Roe versus Wade can go away if Donald Trump becomes president. That will never happen. Yeah, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Who's next? To continue, let's see what Fox said. Misleading Dem contraception bill fails as key votes as GOP slams broad proposal. Republicans said the bill was far broader in scope than just contraception. Democrats' conception bill failed procedural vote. Senate moved 51-39 against moving forward with the Right to Contraception Act. The bill needed 60 votes in order to move forward in the upper chamber. So that's a weird wording by Fox News. Let's bring that up on the screen, shall we? Just to see exactly how weirdly they worded it. The Senate voted 51-39 against moving forward. I don't think that's right. I think the way that they should have worded it is the Senate voted 51-39 for moving forward with the Right to Contraception Act, but it needed 60 votes to pass. But, of course, they're going to mislead you because they're Fox News and they don't know what truth is. It's just truthiness. Hey, Kimchi, thanks for being a Danimal for 4 months. Appreciate you. Chad, I'm going to go watch a movie with my daughter. What movie are you watching? Let us know what movie you're watching before you leave, if you catch this before you leave. Aaron, member for 5 months. Thank you, Aaron, for being a member for 5 months. All the Danimals. Actions. 4 actions. Oh, this is the House. This is the House bill, not the Senate bill. Right to Contraception Act, Senate vote. Trying to see. There we go. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. How every senator voted on the Right to Contraception Act. Yep, here we go. Here's the correct way. The Washington Post gives it the correct way. 51 support, 39 oppose, 10 do not vote before we got the paywall. So, but there we go. We saw it before the paywall hit. 51 voted in support of the legislation. Fox News says 51 voted against the legislation. No. Fox News is lying yet again. And we've caught them yet again. See, we were going to watch Finding Nemo. She did a play at school a few weeks ago that was Finding Nemo and is in love with it. She's 7. Aww. Nemo! Just keep swimming. Just keep swimming. Or is that in Dory? Let's see if we can find But yeah, it was 51 votes for the thing passing, not 51 against moving forward. They're dumbasses. Ahead of the cloture vote, the majority of Republican senators had already signed into a statement led by Rick Scott, attacking the measure as an attempt to score cheap political points. I don't know how cheap the political points are. Sounds to me like they're actually good political points. Today, every senator must take a stand. If you agree all Americans deserve access to contraception, then vote yes on the Right to Contraception Act. Problem is, the only problem with the, I mean, it's good. I mean, it is a political point. Let's see. The bill infringes on the parental rights and religious liberties of some Americans unless federal government force religious institutions and schools, even public elementary schools, to offer contraception like condoms to little kids. What? Absurd. That is absolutely absurd. Let's see. Rights of contraception, Senate text. Let's see. See if we can find the text. Oh, do we have a new Patrick in the chat? Look at that. We had a new Patrick, and then we had a new Patrick get yeeted. Thank you, Aaron. Text. Here we go. Here's the text. Let's flip it back over here. We'll bring up the text. A bill to protect individuals' ability to access contraceptives, and to engage in contraception, to protect healthcare providers' ability to provide contraception, and information related to contraception. In this act, contraception means an act taken to prevent pregnancy, including the use of contraceptives or fertility awareness based on methods and sterilization procedures. Contraceptive, termed contraceptive, means any drug, device, or biological product intended for use of the prevention of pregnancy, whether specifically intended to prevent pregnancy or for other health needs, that is approved, cleared, authorized, or licensed under section blah, blah, blah by the FDA. What does the term government mean? Healthcare provider means any entity or individual, including any physician, certified nurse, midwife, nurse practitioner, nurse, physician assistant, and pharmacist that is licensed. State. The term state includes each of the 50 states, the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and each territory in possession of the United States and political subdivision of any foregoing, including any unit of local government such as county, city, town, village, or general purpose political subdivision of a state. Congress finds the right to contraception is a fundamental right central to an individual's privacy, health, well-being, dignity, liberty, equality, and ability to participate in the social and economic life of the nation. The Supreme Court has repeatedly recognized the constitutional right to contraception, which is true. Griswold v. Connecticut, Einstein v. Baird, Carey versus Population Services. Let's see. So Griswold v. Connecticut was married people to use contraceptives. Eisenstadt versus Baird. All people to use contraceptive, regardless of marital status. And Casey versus Population Services means that minors have the right to have it. The right to contraception has been repeatedly recognized internationally as a human right. Access to contraceptive is internationally recognized by the WHO as advancing other human rights such as right to life, liberty, expression, health, work, and education. Contraception is key to sexual and reproductive health. Contraception has been associated with improved health outcomes. The United States has a long history of reproductive coercion, including childbearing forced upon enslaved women, as well as forced sterilization of black women, Puerto Rican women, indigenous, immigrants, and women who are disabled, and reproductive coercion continues to occur. This history includes the coercive testing of contraceptive pills on women and girls in Puerto Rico. The right to make personal decisions about contraceptive use is important for all Americans, especially critical for historically marginalized groups, including black, indigenous, and other people of color, immigrants, LGBTQ+ folks, people with disabilities, people below wages, and people living in rural and underserved areas. Congress has the authority to enact this act because of its powers in the Commerce Clause, its powers under Section 5 of the 14th Amendment. Good. Its powers under the Necessary and Proper Clause of Section 8 of Article 1. Congress has used authority in the past to protect and expand contraceptive information, products, and services. Purpose of this act is to provide a clear right and comprehensive right to contraception, to permit individuals to seek and obtain contraceptives, blah, 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 to protect an individual's ability to make decisions about their body, medical care, family, and life's course, thereby protect the individual's ability to protect equally in the economic and social life of the United States. Permitted services. General, an individual has a statutory right under this act to obtain contraceptives and to voluntarily engage in contraception free from coercion, and a healthcare provider has a corresponding right to provide contraceptives, contraception, and information, referrals, and services related to contraception. So nothing yet so far seems to suggest that anybody could be forced to take the contraception like the idiots of Fox News and the Republican Congress people have said. So the statutory rights specified in subsection A shall not be limited or otherwise infringed through any limitation or requirement that expressly, effectively, or implicitly, or as implemented singles out the provision of contraception or contraception-related information. Healthcare providers who provide contraceptives, contraception, or contraception-related information, facilities where contraception, and contraception-related information is provided, and impedes access to contraception, and contraception-related information. Exception. To defend against a claim that a limitation or requirement that violates a healthcare provider's individual statutory rights, a party must establish a clear and convincing evidence that the limitation or requirement specifically advances access to contraceptives, contraception, and information, access to contraceptives, and information relating to contraception or health of patients cannot be advanced in a less restrictive alternative measure or means. Neither the federal government nor any state may administer, implement, or enforce any law, rule, regulation, standard, or other provision having the force and effect of law in a manner that prohibits or restricts the sale, provision, or use of contraceptives as defined in Section 2, prohibits, restricts any individual from aiding or another individual in voluntarily obtaining or using contraceptives or contraceptive methods, or exempts any contraceptives or contraceptive methods from any other generally applicable law in a way that would make it more difficult to sell, provide, obtain, or use. Nothing in here says that people are going to be forced to give condoms out in schools. That's just the conspiracy theory by Republican idiots. Yeah, Andrea is 100% correct. They will literally say anything to justify their cruelty. There is somebody on hold, but they haven't hit one yet, so maybe they're just listening. I don't know. Or maybe there's a Blog Talk A Radio issue, and if there's a Blog Talk A Radio issue, I just wasn't able to hear you if you were talking. So, Nick Rich, we've been advised to not feed trolls, but it's so tempting. Trolls smell like Trump. Prove me wrong. Hilarious. I'm getting some sort of hints, or like basically saying you could write with AI in this chat text box. I'm like, well, I don't want to write with AI in the text box. Screw you. Anywho. You see, Mom Zero, so ads suck. Yes, they do. I'm sorry that we have ads, but that's part of the thing of monetization, is that there are ads that run on the Twitch side, which I guess encourages everybody to subscribe, especially if you have Amazon Prime. So, 56 Nicholas, we're waiting on another rant. I don't know if I'd have another rant in me. I said this was going to be a short show, and now it's almost 2 hours. I haven't ranted enough yet. So, speaking of which, I think it is probably time for me to head out for the day. Unless anybody else has anything they want me to talk about in the chat, I'll continue to chat about anything else. But you know, I did want to cover that. So thank you, Andrew, for reminding me. And I'm sure that the Republicans will vote against that too, against the other one that comes up. about the right to in vitro fertilization, because they'll lie about it and obfuscate it and try and make it so they don't have to look like to the general public that they're opposing in vitro fertilization. But in reality, they do, because part of in vitro fertilization is that some embryos have to be discarded. Just like what happens in natural childbirth processes. Like if you're trying to conceive naturally, there are embryos that get discarded along the way. It happens. It's about 30% of the embryos that are created get discarded. You don't even know about it. It just goes out, done. No way you know, done. Doesn't even implant. Doesn't even get implanted to the uterine wall. So if you want to believe that any activity that puts an embryo at risk is somehow child endangerment, then I would highly encourage all conservatives to not have sex. Because the only way that you can be 100% sure that no embryo is discarded, that no embryo gets created and then dies, is by not having sex. Because if you have sex, you're risking the creation of an embryo that has a 30% chance of dying. And if you believe that an embryo is a child and should have every right as a born child, if you believe that, if I did something with my kids where they had a 30% chance of dying, you would have me locked up for child endangerment. So if you believe that embryos are children, and you're putting embryos in a situation that would cause them to have a 30% chance of dying, I don't care if it's natural causes or not. Dying is dying, and you're knowingly and willingly participating in an activity that would create an embryo that has a 30% chance of dying. So if you really believe that embryos are human lives and worthy of protection, the same protection as a born child, then you shouldn't have sex, because you're creating embryos that have a 30% chance, 3 out of every 10 embryos, conservatively, get discarded. They die. It's very irresponsible of you conservatives to continue to have sex, knowing this fact. I urge you to change your behavior immediately, or else you'll be a hypocrite yet again. Hypocrisy is a conservative prerequisite. So says the Nimbus Yosh, the host of the Smooth Sounds of the Prissy Podcast. Dakota Dave, you didn't answer me if you have to talk like a pirate on your cruise. Well, I did talk like a pirate when I was on the Disney cruise, because we did have Pirate Night on the Disney cruise ship, and me and my wife dressed up like pirates, like we pirates, and we sang, and I actually did karaoke dressed up as a pirate too. Let's see. YouTube, let me share that link. /nerdydan.com. Let's mute the sound so it doesn't start playing. September 19th, International Talk Like a Pirate. Well, I won't be going on a cruise on September 19th. That's not when I'm on a cruise. I'm glad I turned that off, because my channel intro is loud. Do you know about Captain Hook? Captain Hook, Captain Hook. Do you know about Captain Hook, who sailed the 7 seas? He swam away from a crocodile, crocodile, crocodile. He swam away from a crocodile who wanted him for tea. Swim away, crocodile. Drink your tea, Sharky and Bones. All right, so here is a video of me singing James Lade at karaoke whilst dressed like a pirate, just in case you wanted to hear me do karaoke. Of course, this is the night where I also sang Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw at karaoke, because this is the 18 and up karaoke, and I was thinking it was okay to sing anything I wanted to sing, and unfortunately, the person who was running the show was all aghast that I would be singing a song about getting drunk and screwing. And he was like, "Screwdrivers, right?" I'm like, "Yeah, absolutely, screwdrivers." That's what Jimmy Buffett is singing about, screwdrivers, in his song "Why Don't We Get Drunk and Screw," which was, point is that I've saved these songs for the adult night, so I didn't have to subject children to adult-themed songs. But if you're a karaoke KJ, the karaoke jock, and you want to be able to restrict what's going to be played, either don't have it in your system as an available song, or tell me I have to pick another song when I put the song in. Anywho, that's me singing. I have other versions of me doing karaoke on the channel, but there's only one version of me doing karaoke on the Nerdy Dan channel that specifically has me dressed up as a pirate singing karaoke. So that's why I provided it to you, since, you know, you did ask about pirate. What was, I heard a joke the other day. What do you call a pedophile pirate? R. Kelly. Anyway, that's the end of today's episode of Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left, that's right. I do have, after the show audio finishes, I'm going to actually give another link to my Twitch channel just to show you how to go on and play the game that I have linked to above, simply because I want to be able to show y'all, so you can see examples of the gameplay. If you want to help the show out, if you want to help the channel out by playing the games, it's 2 weeks long this time. Plenty of time to hit all this stuff. So if you do want to help me out that way, great. Otherwise, like, subscribe, share, comment, do all the other interaction stuff. Get the Al Gore rhythms going. Al Gore needs more rhythm. Oh, I forgot to turn the audio. The audio is now playing. Now you can hear the music. Anyway, till next Monday, unless anything big happens, this is Dan Zimmerman with Liberal Dan Radio. Talk from the left. That's right. Peace.